Right now, 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 right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today, shall we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since we've been out there. The government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show where we bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Still a little bit displaced today as we are working on the new studio, but I believe that it's going to look freaking awesome. Very excited to show you guys the new studio we're currently working on. I made a lot of progress yesterday. Got some big things coming in. I think it's going to be the best looking set that we have ever had. Absolutely cannot wait to show you that. Expecting that to be done by the end of this coming week. Hopefully sooner, but time will tell. I'll keep you guys updated here on the stream and over on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, if you haven't followed us on Twitter, you absolutely should. Over on CryptoJeb, at CryptoJeb on Twitter. We're blowing up over there. Yesterday's video got 4,000 views on YouTube, got 30,000 views on X because X is just going crazy. You guys are following us, doing a lot of stuff over there. We just hit 69,000 followers. So make sure if you haven't, follow me at CryptoJeb over on Twitter. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. I think that it is painfully obvious. Painfully obvious. We got to get the Italian in that. It's painfully obvious that we're about to see a massive breakout on Bitcoin. I've been preparing accordingly, doing the very best that I can to get our family to our next goal of Bitcoin. If you guys don't know, we stack hard. About 6-7 months ago, I realized, what the hell am I doing? I talk about Bitcoin every day, and I'm not stacking Bitcoin every day. What am I doing? So I started dollar cost averaging $150 every single day into Bitcoin just to kind of get started. Just an opening amount, and I quickly realized that was nowhere near enough, so we've been dumping a lot of money into Bitcoin. Should have done it a long time ago. Man, we could have been so much further ahead if I had have adopted a very similar Bitcoin treasury strategy that what Strategy and the other companies are doing. You can see that I'm still learning, right? I've been here for a long time. I'm an expert in the Bitcoin chart, but I've got a lot to learn, and I want to learn with you guys. Today, I'm going to share with you why we're stacking Bitcoin so freaking hard right now, and why we're not doing other things with our money. Why are we not putting a lot of money into the stock market right now? Why are we not doing a lot of paying down a mortgage, right? For example, I mean, we could, but why would we? You know, we're going to talk about different things like that. We're going to talk about, based on where we are in the cycle, what we ought to be doing right now with our portfolios. I'm going to share with you exactly what we're doing, backed by a lot of investment. I'm going to show you what we're doing. I'm going to show you whether it's been working or not. I'm not going to give you the exact numbers for security reasons, but I'm going to show you what we're doing, why we're doing it, where I think the charts are going, and hopefully by the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of how, when, where, and why to make trades or not, whether you should be investing right now in Bitcoin or altcoins, and much, much more. So strap in, stay tuned. We got a lot to cover. Let's get started over on CoinMarketCap. We have a lovely price on Bitcoin right now, $109,760. Very excited about this because that means that Bitcoin, we're over 15% of the way to $3 trillion market cap. And if we look at the chart for Bitcoin, it is absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to dangle it in front of you all day. I'm going to start out right now with showing you exactly why I think that a massive rally is about to happen. Over the last 6 months, Bitcoin has been building an enormous inverse head and shoulders pattern. I told you guys. You have to drop a 1 in the chat if you remember this. But when we broke this uptrend right here, there was an uptrend right here. When we broke this was the day, February 24th, somewhere around there, February 24th, 25th, whatever exact day it was. This was the day that we called that Bitcoin was going to go down to $75,000. We literally predicted that Bitcoin is going to go down to $73,800 to $77,000. That was our range. For a couple of weeks, we had a box on our chart like this, and this was our price target. It went exactly there. And as soon as we broke this uptrend, I said that's where we're going. I only think I said it once, so I don't know if you'll remember. But give me a 1 in chat if you guys remember me saying after we broke this downtrend that this could be a left shoulder. The drop down here could be a right shoulder. And then somewhere over here, we could have a right shoulder. Sorry, this was the left shoulder. This was the head. Somewhere over here, we could have a right shoulder. And we could build an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Drop a 1 in chat if you remember me saying that. I only vaguely remember myself saying that. But I'm pretty sure I said that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that I said that. We called that Bitcoin was going to drop down to 74, and then we said that there's a possibility we would build a right shoulder. So I'm getting 3 1s in chat. Mattis S says 1, Crypto Surge says 1, Kryptoni says 1, K says 2. So K doesn't remember that. Crypto Surge said 1. So we got 4 1s in chat. So apparently I did say that. Schmedley B says 1. This inverse head and shoulders pattern, Booba Fru Indy, Booba Frundi. Frundi. That's a cool name. I'm sorry I butchered it. So you guys do remember me saying that. So it's now coming to fruition. I was thinking about that on my 8-week hiatus after recent events. I said, I will buy coins. Miguel Rangel remembers me tweeting that, said, I will buy coins. I did buy coins. I did buy Bitcoins. Plural. I did. I said I would, and I did. I did buy coins. Plural. Because I saw that this inverse head and shoulders pattern was going to be built. That's what we said. I even said you was right on Twitter. Yeah, this is what we said. Bitcoin was going to build this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And the beautiful thing is, since we had technical analysis, since we had things like Lux Algo, since we had our experience here on the channel, working with you guys give me ideas all the time. It's probably every single day that I walk up to somebody and say, somebody said something really cool in chat the other day, and I share a story with them. Some of my talking points that I go back to over and over, I got from one of you guys in chat. I need to write it down so I can give proper credit where credit's due, right? This interaction that we have here is how we understand where the market's going. I don't know if you can tell. I'm trying to establish that this community has something special about it. We have a special ability to tell where the market is going. Not all the time. We're not going to get it right every time, but we're going to get it right enough that we can make good long-term decisions. We're not going to get it right every time, but we're going to get it right more often than we get it wrong. I believe that. I believe we've been doing that for years here on the channel. I'm not trying to be prideful. That's just what I've seen happen. And it's not hard, because what you end up seeing is that if you bet on Bitcoin and you hold for long enough, you're right. I mean, it's kind of like saying the sun's going to rise tomorrow, right? I mean, it might be 8 hours from now, but if you wait long enough, you're going to be right. If you say Bitcoin's going to go up, eventually you're going to be right. So it's not this super complicated thing. Bitcoin and its 21 million maximum supply is working on our favor. But what's the point here? I want to make 2 points based on this kind of prediction that we made and it coming to fruition. I'm not trying to brag. We get some calls wrong. We did get this one right. The thing that we're looking at here is that this is why I was buying a lot of Bitcoin down here. This is why I raced to get to our next coin right here at 100K. This is why I raced to get to another coin right here. We got to a whole coin here and a whole other coin there, right? This is why we raced to get Bitcoin. Because if this inverse head and shoulders pattern was built as we predicted it would be, then that means that the price target is pointing at $170,000. Yesterday, I explained to you, if you didn't watch yesterday's stream, go back and watch it or listen to it. Yesterday on stream, we talked about how $170,000 is not crazy. In fact, I just talked to Plan C yesterday on Twitter. If you guys don't know who Plan C is, going to share the love, you guys should definitely go follow The Real Plan C on Twitter. Love this guy. He's got a lot of great content. Been a few years since I talked to him. I reached out to him, and luckily enough, he actually responded. So we got to have a good conversation. I'm not going to show you the conversation, but I will tell you that he and I both, based on our understanding of the market, $100,000 is very, very much the base. It is very much a baseline. It makes a lot of sense for Bitcoin to go to $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 by the end of this decade. It makes a lot of sense for Bitcoin to hit at least $400,000 by the end of this decade. And also, it's not going to be that difficult for us to hit $170,000. In fact, I even said in this chat with him the other day, you only need a couple $100 billion worth of inflows to send Bitcoin to 170,000. You don't need $1 trillion to make $1 trillion of market cap, because that's not the way markets work. It's not $1 in equals $1 of market cap. That's not the way it works. And the way that I can prove this to you is if you were to sell every Bitcoin. First of all, you couldn't do that because, there's got to be buyers, right? If you were to sell every single Bitcoin, you wouldn't get $2.1 trillion out of it because you'd crash the price. It's the same thing. If you were to buy $2.1 trillion worth of Bitcoin, you're not going to increase the market cap by $2 trillion. You're going to increase the market cap by $10 trillion. And you're going to create wealth. That's the way that investments work, is that as you put money into markets, it grows the market more than it grows the market by a larger market capitalization than the investment is actually worth nominally. which leads to price appreciation that you can benefit on and that you can outpace the fiat currency's debasement with. So for us to go to $170,000, very much in the realm of possibility, and that's the price target of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. I want to keep things really simple, guys. I can go into all the details. I can give you another 10 reasons. Like, I can tell you, and I'm going to give you one more major technical reason. I don't want to overwhelm you, but the main thing is this giant inverse head and shoulders pattern. For those of you guys who have been watching for a long time, you know what an IH&S is. For those of you who just started, this is a head and shoulders pattern. When price action does this, sorry, I need to back up a little bit, popping on the mic a little bit. This is a head and shoulders pattern. You have a few different things here. You have the shoulder line, you have the neckline, and then you have the price target, which is the distance between the neckline and the head. When you have a head and shoulders pattern, you draw a price target just like this. You just simply flip the distance from the baseline, otherwise known as the neckline, to the head down. And so if you're in a market and you do this number, then you would expect to do this number. You would expect to back test down to, that's a beautiful looking market. Man, that looks really good. You'd expect the market to come back here and hit this price target. Well, in the inverse, it's the same thing with an inverse head and shoulders pattern. When you have an inverse head and shoulders pattern, just for the few of you guys who might not be familiar, be quick. You have an inverse head and shoulders pattern. The price looks like this, and maybe you're coming down into it right here. You have your baseline level of support. You have your shoulder line, neckline, and then you pull the price target like this. You would say the price target's up here. The price is probably going to come up here at least, and then it might keep going, right? So what we have right now, as you can see, is an inverse head and shoulders pattern that predicts that we're going to go through the same amount of rally as it took from the correction back up to the all-time high was $36,000. This is predicting on a logarithmic chart that we go to $170,000. On a regular chart, this would be a slightly more conservative prediction, and it would be predicting roughly 145. So I'll go ahead and show you that right here. On a regular chart, this would be predicting roughly 145 to 148. So 148 would make sense because it would be up to this uptrending level of resistance. It would take us up to the uptrending level of resistance here on the log chart. So I'm currently eyeing for this next movement between $135,000 and $150,000. That's where I think we're going to go based on this inverse head and shoulders pattern. We've been right so far on it. Our luck could run out. We could be wrong on this, but what I believe is that we're about to break all-time high and go into a major rally. And a big part of that also, I want to talk about the slightly shorter term time frames here, is that Bitcoin has shown remarkable strength. It was like 1 a.m. last night, and I was like, sweetie, I need to show you this. My wife, I'm like, look at this chart. What do you see? You know, trying to show her, like, do you understand what's about to happen? Because I want to buy a lot more Bitcoin, and I want to make sure she was okay with it. But you've got this massive, just vertical march up to 112. And what do? We built a head and shoulders pattern here. Bears got excited. Even for a second there, we said we might drop down to test 92. Could have happened. Didn't happen. We were wrong on that one. I said that we were going to go to at least 100. We could go as low as 92 to fill the CME gap. We had 3 price targets: bull case 100, base case 95, bear case 92. That's what we predicted. We went to the bull case here at 100K. I said if we go down to 100K, we'll start buying. We bought the dip down here at 100K. Was very happy about that. Got to keep the average cost basis as low as possible. But the thing I want to show you is the Fibonacci. I'm crafting a story here for you, can you tell? When Bitcoin goes into a corrective movement, oftentimes it will drop down to the 0.382, which is the inverse of phi. Phi is the golden ratio. If you divide any of the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 80 something, etc., right? If you divide those numbers, you will get these numbers. These are the Fibonacci numbers. 0.618 and the inverse, which is phi, 1.618, is the second most important number in mathematics after pi. The inverse, the opposite, I guess you should say, not the inverse, but the opposite of phi is 0.382, because if you add 0.382 to 0.618, you get 1, right? So these are on opposite sides of the 0.5 level here at Fibonacci retracement. Generally, when a market goes through a healthy correction, it will drop, especially Bitcoin, will drop down to the 0.382 Fibonacci level. That's roughly a 40% retracement off of the total height of the rally. So for example, if we look at our last bull cycle here, we can see that Bitcoin dropped, as you can see right here, down to the 0.236, stayed there for a long time, did not hold it, broke down to the 0.382, held it, and then dropped on a wick down to the 0.5. You can see, if we just kind of clean up our chart here, this will be some valuable insight for you guys. Just remove some of these drawings, make this really abundantly clear to show you the power of Fibonacci. Here's one Fibonacci level. Here's another Fibonacci level. Here's another Fibonacci level. Where did Bitcoin set its support? Right here. And then it ranged here. And then it wicked down to here. I think it's very obvious that the three most important support levels that Bitcoin experienced was here, here, and here. I mean, it's textbook. Like, you can see it. This is, honestly, in future education where I teach about Fibonacci, this is probably going to be the market I use because it's perfect. Perfect example of Fibonacci. Because we could not get enough strength to bounce off of 0.236, we ended up dropping back down to 0.382. So right now, the question becomes, do we have enough strength? Do we have enough strength to continue the uptrend here when on this corrective movement, we only dropped down to 0.236? I think so. And the reason for that is because we are basically right here in this last market. Now, you notice Bitcoin didn't rally, it crashed. But why? Because we'd already broken all-time high. This was not the same as hitting right here. You could liken where we are right now to here, or you could liken it to here. Give me a 1 in chat. Let's have a vote. Do you think Bitcoin... In fact, I'll bring up a poll. I'll bring up a poll. Let's get interactive. Click off and pull up the poll. Let's do a poll. All right. Is Bitcoin at 1 or 2? Hopefully you can see the similarity. The like cup and handle formation, inverse head and shoulders pattern, this little cup that's forming. You can see the similarity between these three markets. Which one do you think we're at? Where do you think we are? By the way, hit the like button, smash the likes. Let's see if we can get up to, I don't know, 400 likes. Why not? Let's go crazy. A Juan in the chat. Let's get some Juans in the chat. Where are we? Are we at 1 or are we at 2? What do you think? Are we here or are we here? Because if we're here, then that means there's a lot more rally to go. If we're here, that means the cycle top has just happened and Bitcoin's probably going into a freaking bear market. So where do you think we are? We're taking a bet. We're taking a gamble. We're saying, hey, yeah, we're going to go higher. Where do you think we are? I'm going to click off and see the stream. 59% of you guys are saying 2. I agree. And the reason that I think that is because Bitcoin is sitting right beneath the all-time high. In the same way, too, was sitting right beneath the previous all-time high. We spent all this time, months and months and months. Do you remember when I told you we could consolidate until July or August? Even October, even September, I said. Like, I even said it could take that long. Who remembers several months ago? I need to start pulling the charts. Me drawing just a giant cup right here and saying that's what Bitcoin's going to do because it's just going to repeat what we did last year. Spends a whole year doing one formation. Bitcoin's slowing down, and that's a good thing. It's getting more stable. Makes a bear market less likely. We're at 2. That's my opinion. And that seems to be the majority opinion, 58% of you. I'm surprised that 42% of you think we're at 1. That's interesting. That the majority opinion, and I would agree with it, is that we're at 2. I believe that we're about to break the all-time high and we're about to go into a major rally. Well, check this out. Bitcoin here rallied as much above the all-time high touch as we dropped below the all-time high touch. See this? It's the same. It matches. Well, if Bitcoin does that again, then guess what? On the linear chart. Sorry. Yes. No, it has to be on the log chart because that's the only way it works. On the log chart, we're looking at $167,000. We qualified yesterday whether or not 167 to 170K was realistic, and we found out it very much is. You only need a couple $100 billion to do that. You have to have some selling pressure from OG accounts to pause, which they probably will. You have to break all-time high. And the final point I'll make before we jump on to some fundamental reasons that Bitcoin's about to go crazy and what we should be doing right now is that on the short-term time frames, Bitcoin shot up, only had a tiny correction, and is right back at all-time high again, more or less. We're at 110, close enough, basically. This shows us that the bulls are extremely strong. We have been above $100,000 for over 30 days now. That shows us that this market is not done. It shows us that we're most likely going higher, and I'm loading up my bags as aggressively as I can before we break 110, because honestly, we're probably going to port straight to 125. And I believe this firmly. I could be wrong. Been wrong before. Be wrong again. Don't ever let an analyst tell you that they're going to be right every time, because they're lying. but I'm willing to say it. The next major leg up, I pinned this to my Twitter last night, to my X account last night. The next major leg up is around the corner for Bitcoin. 120K, possibly 125K will happen by my 8th anniversary being in Bitcoin, July 31st of 2025. That's what I believe. If you guys are not following me on Twitter, on X, I probably post like 50 or 60 times a day over here. Make sure to go and follow me at CryptoJeb. I want to get to 70K followers. I want to get to 100K followers. We got to have 100K followers on X. If you have not followed me on X, go follow me on X. Now, last thing I want to mention is Lux Algo, because Lux Algo's got some very important signals. Daily chart has flipped bullish. This is a good thing. ASMR. This is a very good thing. Let's take a look at the last, I don't know, let's go back 5 times. Let's look at the last 6 times that Lux Algo has called a corrective movement. And let's compare that to the rest of our analysis. Sorry, called a rally, a buy signal. So my favorite signal with Lux Algo is that you have a buy signal and you have trend catcher green. I've walked through this with the founder of Lux Algo, and he loves it. Like, this is a great signal. I showed it to him in person. He came down to Gainesville one time. Sean, he's a friend of mine who founded Lux Algo. They've got like 200,000 people on Lux Algo now. The dude's blown up. Crazy big company at this point. Shown in this indicator, this way of using the indicator, he loves it. Trend catcher's green, buy signal's green. That's what we just had happen. For any of you who have been following our channel for a long time, you know that I make a big deal about it when that happens. It's a really big deal. You're not going to see that anywhere else. So we saw it happen here. Bitcoin went through a massive rally, up 31%. Over here, we saw it happen. Bitcoin rallied for 3 or 4 days, up 10%, but, not the best. We're close to the top. Right here, we had a confirmed Lux Algo buy signal. Bitcoin was not at the end of the cycle. You had a little bit of time, plus 11%. Not one of them has been in loss yet. Not one of them have been in loss yet. Here, we had a buy signal come in here. Now, we're not confirmed. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, no, actually, it would have been right here. The buy signal was right here. The trend catcher turned green right here. This was below the all-time high touch. This was back down here at 62. This is more equivalent to where we are right now. We saw Bitcoin rally $46,000. We are not at fresh all-time highs. These two are not comparable to where we are right now. This signal here and this signal here are more comparable to where we are right now because we're about to break the all-time high. We have to have an apples-to-apples comparison. It has to be a fair comparison. It's not fair to compare this Lux Algo buy signal to Lux Algo buy signals that came at the very top, not at the very top, but a few days before the top. It's more fair to compare it to the buy signals that came in as we're breaking the top, right? So that's 4. Let's go back one more. And then we had a buy signal over here kind of in the middle of the market, right? So it's not perfect. Any technical indicator is going to get a little bit tripped up when you're ranging, and Bitcoin's been doing a lot of ranging lately. But Bitcoin is probably not going to continue ranging here. The most comparable Lux Algo buy signals that we have are this one and this one because they happen below the all-time high. Every single one of these Lux Algo buy signals, the last 5, has led to a profit, some big, some small. These two that are more comparable have led to a $26,000 30% movement and a $45,000 70% movement, respectively. This is what we're looking at right now. So if we're looking at, let's say, $25,000 minimum, a 25K movement here from Lux Algo predicting, would be a $136,000 market, a $136,000 move. And by the way, for those of you guys that say Lux Algo is lagging, hello, the buy signal came in and we haven't broken all-time high yet. It's saying we're about to break all-time high. It's saying we're about to go into a rally. It's not a lagging indicator. The breakout hasn't happened yet. This is a leading indicator. Now, of course, it came in. It's waiting for confirmation. You don't want it to be so leading that it's always wrong. Do you really want an indicator that's the indicator's always so early that it's always wrong? That's not the indicator you want. You want the indicator that comes in with the buy signal as soon as possible, but only when it's actually correct, right? That's what Lux Algo is doing here. And for those of you guys who want to see my settings, signal sensitivity 12, same thing has been for years. 4 years. Same thing. Here's everything. Keep it really simple. There are so many. This is Lux Algo Premium. There are so many settings in here you can fiddle around with. And honestly, I need to dig in deeper and learn even more about Lux Algo because honestly, I know a lot about Lux Algo, but I need to learn more. They have like 400 indicators or something now. It's freaking crazy, and they're all amazing. Like, they coded an indicator for me called the Crypto Jeb the Crypto Jeb oscillator down here, which, by the way, the Crypto Jeb oscillator is wicked bullish right now. It's about to our very own indicator, which you can get luxalgo.com/Crypto Jeb. Wicked bullish right now, insanely bullish right now. I told them, they came to me, LuxAlgo, the team, they came to me, they said, we want to make you an indicator. We want to put your name on an indicator. I was like, wow, thank you. I'm very flattered. And they said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to measure the strength of the bulls and the bears and the transition between the two. They made an indicator out of what I said. It's crazy. It's incredible what these guys are capable of. If you guys have not signed up for LuxAlgo, you are missing out. And the reason that I'm making such a big fuss about it right now in particular is they've got a big sale going on. You can get LuxAlgo for the next 7 days for 40% off if you pay for the yearly plan. 40% off. 40% off. Massive deal going on right now. You can get the yearly plan here for $431 for a year. Ultimate. This is all the AI back testing. Hey guys, you keep asking me, Jeb, what's your signals? What are your settings? My settings are great, but let me tell you how you get the best settings. You get Ultimate, you get the AI backtesting platform access with all the toolkits. I've used it. It's freaking powerful, man. You can apply it to any market you want, run the indicator, and it will auto-optimize what signals and what sensitivity, all that. It'll automatically optimize itself to give you the best hit rate so that if you're using this for trading, you're right more than you're wrong. So if you're using this for investment, you understand where you're going. If you're trying to make money in crypto, especially if you're trading, especially if you're playing the altcoin game, you need to have the best tool in your toolkit. You need to sign up for LuxAlgo, and you need to use our referral link with the link in the description box down below, because you'll help to support the channel, and you'll also be able to get future discounts, and you'll be able to be part of our team over there on LuxAlgo. So make sure, if you've not already, sign up for LuxAlgo, get the ultimate plan, take advantage of this opportunity, this big discount that's going on right now. Because let me just ask you this. If you're a brain surgeon, do you want like a cheap little X-Acto knife from Hobby Lobby, or do you want the best scalpel? If you're a doctor, do you want just some little kitty, like little stethoscope, or you want the actual good tool? Like if you're a builder, if you're a roofer, do you want just some random hammer, or do you want a really nice framing hammer? It's important for professionals to have good tools. It is a good investment. It's an even better investment than the market. It's an even better investment than the market because it allows you to play the market better. It's a force multiplier on top of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency's force multiplier. You can make a lot of money in roofing, but you can make even more money if you have the right tools and you feed your body well, so you can sit on that roof for 12 hours a day. And you can make even more money if you take good care of yourself. You having the right tools is important for you if you're a professional. If you're actually serious about making money in the crypto space, get the right tools. LuxAlgo is the single most important tool in your toolkit. Sign up right now. Get access to all the indicators. And I haven't even mentioned yet the incredible Discord server. Their Discord server is amazing. I'll just go ahead and show you over here. Their Discord server is amazing. There are, if I recall correctly, almost 200,000 people in this Discord server. You got the stock chat, crypto chat, forex chat, hangout, the bots. You got all the alerts over here. I'm not going to show too much of it on here because this is behind a paywall, but you should get access to it. That Discord server is phenomenal. It's worth it. It's worth the price tag alone. So make sure to sign up. The June Market Accelerant sale is going on right now. 40% off, 40 extra % off this week only. Use the link down below. All right. So we've got our tools now. What do we do? I've shown you where Bitcoin is going, why I believe it's going there. I've told you we could be wrong. But there's a couple other things I want to explain to you. I want to explain to you long-term philosophy and long-term planning and action. Let's start with the long-term philosophy. Let's say I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I value my integrity more than you thinking I'm some god of trading, because I'm not. I'm not perfect. And even if you are perfect, that doesn't mean that you're going to get it right every time, because the market can throw you curveballs. I mean, we just saw Elon Musk and Donald Trump make up, right? You just saw a trade deal come out with, or the beginnings of a trade deal with China. Hopefully, no, we've heard that 10 times. We'll see if it plays out. But things can happen, so we can be wrong. So what do we do if we're wrong? That's the philosophical question. That's the philosophical question for the day, is what do we do? I'll tell you what we do. We pick the right horse, and we ride that horse until it's good for us. Everyone is so caught up on how we get the lowest entry. I would argue that it's even more important to get an early entry than to get a low entry. I've explained this before. This is one of my big talking points I keep going back to. We would all agree Bitcoin's going up and to the right over time. We would all agree Bitcoin's going to 200, 300, 500, a million, 2 million. We would all agree on that. If you're in crypto, you probably agree with that statement. Bitcoin has been moving up and to the right for 16 years, and it's not about to stop anytime soon. That means, what most people think is that means I need to get the lowest possible entry. I would argue that it's just as, if not more important, to get the earliest possible entry. Because if we're going here, you want to get your entry as far away from there as possible so you have the most upside. Both of these options are very far away from where we're going. And the reason for that is because in the long run, the overall trend of Bitcoin is up, which means, generally speaking, and I can say this actually factually speaking, the earlier you get into Bitcoin, ignore price for a minute. Ignore price for a second. Let's look at the 104. Let's look at 48-month moving average. Let's look at the 4-year moving average. On a 4-year average, Bitcoin's moving up, which means the earlier your investment is, the more likely it is to be a lower investment. I'm not sure if you're tracking with me here. I'm trying to explain the nuts and bolts of the phrase time in the market beats timing the market. Timing the market is getting the lowest entry. Time in the market is being as early as possible. In other words, it's fine if you have technical analysis and verifiable, credible evidence that you're about to go through a massive crash, like you have insider information that, I don't know, somebody's going to launch a nuke tomorrow and we're going to have a world war. Fine. Sure, time the market if you got great information. If you got solid information, time it, sure. Generally speaking, especially in the absence of extremely clear, verifiable evidence, getting the Bitcoin as early as possible is the best move. What are all the big guys doing? Saylor doesn't time the market. Oh, but Jeb, he's got $60 billion of Bitcoin. He doesn't need to. I know. But if you want to be a big fish, you got to start acting like them. They weren't a big fish the whole time. They weren't always a big fish. They were at a loss for 3 years. Nayib Bukele, they buy one Bitcoin every day. That's what they do. They buy a Bitcoin a day. Not really a whole lot of timing going on there. But they've been in the market for a long time, and now they have a $400 million unrealized return. Let's say I'm wrong, to bring the whole argument together. Let's say I'm wrong, and Bitcoin does crash here, and we don't go all the way up to 140. Could you have gotten a better entry? Yeah, 92 is objectively a better entry, if you're long, than 109. But if you bought now as an earlier entry, Jeb, that doesn't make any logical sense. What are you talking about? Obviously, 92K is a better entry than 109. Correct. But you're not a month from now at 92. You're today at 109. There is a risk that 92 doesn't happen. In fact, I'd say there's a great risk right now that 92 doesn't happen. You are making the classic mistake that investors have made throughout time, which is that you are only calculating the reward, you are not calculating the risk. There is an opportunity cost of not buying Bitcoin today at 109 when tomorrow it could be at 300. Not literally tomorrow, but in the next 12 to 14 months, it could be at 300. There's an opportunity cost of sitting on your hands and waiting for the dip that might never come. After 2008, the U.S. housing market. Let's see if I can find a chart while I'm introducing this topic. In 2008, people were expecting that Bitcoin was going to, sorry, not Bitcoin, that the U.S. real estate market was going to crash again. They just assumed it was going to. Well, it happened once, it must happen again, right? Let's see, I can't find the ticker for this. Come on, give me the actual chart. Thank you. I love charts. People were just assuming that it was going to crash again. Here's the median home price in the United States over the last 30 years. In 2008, median home price crashes. Median home price crashes 20%. People were expecting that it was going to happen again. And then guess what happened? They did. It didn't happen. And they were left holding cash that was getting debased and being stolen from them through the silent tax of inflation, waiting for another housing market crash that never came. And the people that bought right here at the top, held through the dip, are up double. Now, I don't think real estate's the best investment. I think Bitcoin is, but still, you doubled your money. There are people that bought, Dave Ramsey talks about how he bought the bottom, bought it 10 cents on the dollar compared to where it is now. Made 10x in real estate. Freaking real estate, he made 10x, right? You're sitting around waiting for the next drop that might never come. The earlier the investment is just as, if not more important, than how low the investment is. Because as every day goes by and as every dollar is added to a new all-time high, your entry becomes more and more secure. My entries that I made down here at 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 90, 85, they're pretty secure. You'd have to drop pretty far to get back down to those. And the farther Bitcoin drops off of all-time high, the more justification it needs, and it's just not there in the fundamental market. So the earlier the investment and the lower the investment, the better. For those of you who made investments early, as in 4 years ago, at the very top at 69, you're still in profit if you held 60%. And for Bitcoin from where it is now to go back to your entry, it would have to drop 40%, which it has not done in 3 years. Because you bought early, even though you didn't buy the bottom, you're still safe. Now, obviously, it's better to buy the bottom. That's great. But you didn't know that we were going to drop down to 15K when we were at 69. You can't use the benefit of hindsight to say you shoulda, woulda, coulda, because you didn't know. You need to get in as early as possible, which means today, yesterday was better, tomorrow would be worse, but today's good enough. That's my philosophy on, well, Jeb, what if it... Well, Jeb, we're going to drop down to 92. Well, what if we do? Buy more. You get paid every 2 weeks, don't you? You pay once a month. If it drops in a month, use that paycheck to buy that dip. Use today's paycheck to buy where we are. If that's what you're doing, if you're an investor. It's my job to tell you what I would do if I were in your situation. I just so happen to be in your situation if you were a Bitcoin investor. So I'm going to tell you what I do. And that is, I don't dump everything in all at once. But I'm always just a couple of months away from running out of cash to deploy, more or less. And that means as the cash balance goes down, my investments have to go down, have to shrink, and I have to go and make more money. Right, I have to go and grow the business so I have more revenue and generate more activity in the market, provide more value into the cryptocurrency market to make more money, sell more Lux Algo, whatever we're doing, making more videos, more ad revenue, more coaching calls, whatever revenue generation activity it is that I'm doing in the business, providing value, getting value in return, investing it. As we deploy more of our cash, I got to go make more money to get more cash. And so as I'm trying to dump money into Bitcoin, it actually drives me to go and grow the business. It actually drives me to go and grow the channel here and our teaching and everything that we do, because I want more cash to dump into Bitcoin. I've dumped a lot in. I want more. I'm greedy for Bitcoin. I really am. I'm not going to sacrifice the health of my family for it. But honestly, that's after the health, spiritual, emotional, and physical safety of my family. One of my big goals in life is to get as much Bitcoin as I can get my grubby little paws on. And I should have been that serious about it years ago. And I'd be a lot farther ahead. I have a lot more Bitcoin than most people. And I'm still ashamed of how much I don't have that I could have had because I screwed up, right? But the point is, we're here now. We're doing what's right. And I'm very excited about where Bitcoin's going to go. So we talked about the philosophical element of investing and why it's important to get in as early as possible. I also want to talk about the practical element. Where are we going? I believe by the end of this decade, Bitcoin will have touched $400,000 at least once. I'm not saying we'll be trading there exactly on January 1st, 2030, I guess. But I think by the end of this decade, there is a very high likelihood that Bitcoin will have at least touched 400K once. Worst case scenario, we're coming out of a bear market. They will bottom out in 2028, 2029, and we're on our way to $400,000 to $600,000 in the next bull market. Worst case scenario, we're on our way to 400K even if we haven't hit it yet. That's my base case. Actually, I'd say that's my base case. My bear case is, okay, Bitcoin hits $250,000 this cycle, regulatory headwinds, which are nowhere to be found right now, more or less, and something changes. But my base case is by the end of this decade, you're looking at $300,000 to $500,000 per Bitcoin. By 2035, 10 years from now. My base case is you're looking at $1 million a coin. My bear case is you're looking at $750,000 a coin. My bull case is you're looking at a $1.5 million Bitcoin in 2035. Zoom out to 2040, which is the earliest that we will sell Bitcoin unless we absolutely have to for some reason. That's the plan, right? The earliest that we plan on selling is 2040. I expect base case for Bitcoin to be between $2 and $5 million, bear case for it to be $1 million, and bull case for it to be over $10 million in price. Because I think in the next 15 to 20 years, Bitcoin is going to flip gold. It's going to become the global store of value that sovereigns around the world store their wealth in and hedge against their debasing currencies. If they want to keep up, you really need to listen to what I'm about to say. This is probably the most important nugget of fundamental wisdom in this content today. If nation states want to continue to debase their currency, they have to balance that currency debasement with investment in a hard currency. If you have a hot air balloon, if you have a plane, if you have a boat, the more weight you have, the more buoyancy you need to not sink. If a nation wants to continue putting the weight of debasing a currency on their nation, they have to provide enough buoyancy to counterbalance that weight. If the weight is a debasing currency, every action needs an equal and opposite reaction. Newton's laws of physics applies here. If you want to counterbalance the debasement of the fiat currencies, you need an equal but opposite force, which is investment in hard currency. I think we can all agree that nation states want to continue to debase their currency. The only way that they can continue to do that is with investment in hard forms of money, like Bitcoin and gold. Any nation that wants to continue to debase their currency, therefore, has no choice but to invest in gold and Bitcoin. Or else, most nations with their own sovereign currency are looking at currency collapse within 30 to 50 years. That is the single most important point I will make in this entire stream. Because Bitcoin is the hedge that has been provided for individuals and for nation states that are struggling with currency debasement. There are two lifeboats. One of them is gold, one of them is Bitcoin, except Bitcoin is way better. It can teleport instantaneously. It's trustless. It's decentralized. And it has a lot more love than gold. More Americans hold Bitcoin than hold gold. There's a reason for that. It's sexier. It's more interesting. The gold bugs say, oh, well, gold's old. That's exactly what the people that buy Bitcoin say. And that's why they're not buying gold. Gold's greatest selling point, oh, it's been around for a long time, is the exact reason why no one's buying it. People are buying it. Don't get me wrong. Massive breakout just happened in the last 2 years. But it's the same reason why people are pouring into Bitcoin faster than they're pouring into gold. Gold's former greatest selling point of being the store of value that mankind has had since the beginning of the time is becoming its greatest weakness. In the same way that 120 years ago, the argument was, we've been riding horses for thousands of years. It's the oldest form of transport. And that turned into Henry Ford's marketing. Horses are old-fashioned. Get yourself a car. It doesn't poop in your driveway. Right? What I have found, this is where we apply the Bible. In Ecclesiastes, the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived, said this. Ecclesiastes 1:9. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. That phrase, there is nothing new under the sun, is a true statement, whether you're a Christian or not, whether you believe in the veracity of the Bible or not, whether you agree with Solomon or not. There is nothing new under the sun is true. Cars aren't a new thing. They copied horses. Okay, I understand. Horses don't have wheels. I get it. But you ride a horse somewhere, don't you? You ride a horse-drawn wagon somewhere, don't you? It's a form of transport that you can carry stuff on. You have to feed it gasoline. It has excrement, poop, or CO2. It requires regular maintenance, going to the vet or taking it to the mechanic. And it transports people and stuff from point A to point B. We took the horse. We took our feet. We said, you know what? We can do this better. We built cars. We built trains. We built boats. We built airplanes. We built spaceships. We built motorcycles. We built Hot Wheels cars, right? There's nothing new under the sun. Things change form, but all we do is we take what God made and we say, oh, you know what? We can work in partnership with God and make this a little different. We can advance this. That's what God wants us to do. He wants us to go out and do cool things with this creation. There's nothing new under the sun. We have cars today because yesterday we had horses. We have roads today because yesterday we had rabbit trails through the woods. We have the internet because yesterday we had face-to-face conversation. We have live streams because yesterday we had TED Talks. And yesterday before that we had radio. And before that we had shouting across the valley to your friend. There is nothing new under the sun. Bitcoin is not an original idea. Gold was the original idea. Horses were the original idea. Footpaths created by deer through the woods was the original idea. The sun was the original idea for light. We simply took the idea, used technology, and made, I don't even want to say a better form, but a different form that was perhaps more controllable and more useful for modern society. It was also useful for modern society. Horses don't not exist anymore. We live not far from Ocala. It's literally called the equestrian capital of the world. You cannot go 5 seconds without passing a horse trailer. But those horses aren't pulling the trailers anymore. Now they're riding in them, right? Gold is not going anywhere. It's still going to be around, but it's going to be used for jewelry. It's going to be used as a status symbol. You're going to have but it's not going to be the store of value. In the same way, horses, for the most part, are not the form of transportation. They're used sometimes. Horsepower, right? The sun is useful for light. I mean, my face is being lit by the sun out that window right now. It's useful. But we also have studio lighting, which I'll be getting set up here in a minute for our new studio. Gold's not going to disappear, but it's going to have a lot of its use replaced. The big players know this, and they're preparing. And you have a choice of betting on the automobile, of betting on the incandescent light bulb, of betting on the interstate highway system, of betting on the railroad, or you get left behind. The choice is yours. Jeb, what about quantum? What about quantum? If you don't like quantum, then hedge your bets and buy gold. Buy some gold. Buy 20% of your portfolio in gold. I don't freaking care. Gold's going to double too. You're not going to make as much money as you will in Bitcoin, but I get it. Well, you think quantum can't hack your 4-digit bank account PIN, but is going to hack hundreds of digits in your public key first? Quantum will hack everything in our entire modern financial system before it hacks Bitcoin. You will see it coming years ahead of schedule because it will be wreaking havoc in every single other area of life. It's the only verifiable threat to Bitcoin is quantum, and we do need to do something about it. We really do. We've got to get on the developers to do something about it. We need more quantum resistance. I'm not a blockchain engineer. I don't know exactly what we need to do, and I'm going to look more into it because I want to be a voice for that in the space because it is an issue that we're looking at in the next 10 to 15 years. But other than that, there's nothing on the horizon to stop Bitcoin. Nothing. Nothing. It's going to go up and to the right forever. So prepare accordingly. What's our plan? We buy as much Bitcoin as we can as early as possible because I can control that. I can control that I bought today instead of tomorrow. What I can't control is the price of Bitcoin and whether it goes down or not. Hopefully you're starting to understand this idea of it's just as important, if not more important, to buy early than low. I can control that I bought early. I can't control that I bought low because I can't force the price to go down. Big players that manipulate the market, they can control the price goes down. They manipulate the market down. They can do that. Totally. I can't do that. I'm not big enough to control the market. But I can control that I bought today instead of a week from now or a month from now or a year from now. I can control making as much money as I can today while taking very good care of my family, not neglecting them. They're in very good shape financially. But then dumping as much of the extra as I can into Bitcoin as fast as I possibly freaking can, because I can control getting it early. So I'd love to hear your opinions on this in the chat. We're going to read some chat, and then we're going to wrap it out. Guys, if you just tuned in, go back like 20 minutes. We were talking about Lux Algo. You need to get Lux Algo. If you have not gotten access to Lux Algo, you should. The best tool in the game for you guys if you're in crypto. Make sure you sign up for Lux Algo. Only 7 days left on this coupon. Let's read some chat, and then we're going to wrap it out. Also, make sure to follow me on X, @CryptoJeb. We've got about 100 followers in the last little bit, looks like it. So make sure if you haven't already, go follow me on X. Love seeing you guys over there. We post our daily videos on X also. Our video yesterday on YouTube got 5,000 views. On X, the video got 37,000 views. So, yeah, going to keep doing that. Holy cow. That's nice. So stay tuned for more content coming onto X. Pretty soon, I will be streaming on X. I've heard that you can do that. I got to look into it. Can somebody verify that in chat for me? I think you can stream on X. If I can, then I'm going to be cross-streaming. I'm going to be cross-streaming this on X, and then the plan is to also move to Rumble pretty soon. The chief executive officer of Rumble and I want to sit down and have a talk. They have a studio down in Sarasota. I'm planning on visiting at some point in the not-too-distant future. So stay tuned. Very excited about all of that. Love you guys. Sharon Henderson said how to contact you on X. Just reply to something on my X. I try and get back to everything. Someone said, Queen said, I want the Camry back. So does my son. He misses that thing. What's your favorite stock? You like Tesla, Jeb? I love Tesla. It's already worth like $1 trillion. I think it'll double again. It'll probably be worth $2 to $5 trillion by the end of the decade. But I'm going to be honest. I think Bitcoin's going to outpace it. Let's see. Get a hold of Investing Bros. They do it. What, they stream on X? Cool. Good for them. You said that 6 days ago that Bitcoin will crash to 92. Is that move still in play? What we said 6 days ago was that there were 3 cases. Bull case, Bitcoin drops to 100. Base case, it drops to 95. Bear case, it drops to 92. 92 would be the lowest because there's a CME gap down there. We ended up going to the bull case, which leads me to believe that we're about to have a huge breakout. The fact that we didn't drop below 100 is extraordinarily bullish. 92, from my perspective, short term is extraordinarily unlikely now. It might happen in the next corrective movement. It could happen. I kind of doubt it though. I think 92. It's going to take a long time before we ever see that again. Maybe never. Maybe never. All right. Jeb is the GOAT. Thank you so much. I have been holding Bitcoin for almost a decade. Wish I had been holding more. I've been a whole coiner for years and years and years, but wish I had held more because I could have. I really could have, guys. Back in the day, I could have bought 50 Bitcoin a month, and I'm an idiot for not having done it, but that's okay. We're still doing good. You live and you learn. Good to see you. Look, some serious lessons are up with Jeb. Yeah, we got a lot to teach. Financial sovereignty or nada? Absolutely. My skin looks healthy. Thank you. Appreciate that. What Lux Algo indicator are you using? That's the premium indicator. That's the mainline indicator. Love it. Lux Algo settings, please. Yeah, if you look back in the stream, I posted those. I'll show you again real quick. Let's see. They're the base settings. They're literally, it's the signal sensitivity 12. That's pretty much it. You've also got down here, distance is 5. This is for the TPSL, take profit stop losses. Could probably adjust those settings a little bit, but the signal sensitivity is 12. Dixie 98.6. Yep. Doesn't have a fever anymore. Not running hot. Let's see. Bought a ton more when we dipped under 80K. Good for you. Read chat just for a couple of minutes. We're going to have to wrap it out because I got to go shoot today's video. Very much looking forward to having the new set online. No more car videos. We're going to be shooting on the set from now on. Working on getting that set up. Well, yeah, if you want to know what type of software they're using and stuff to do parallel streams on all the platforms. Yeah, I was talking to Sin City Crypto. I was out in their studio out in Vegas last week. They stream to Twitch, Rumble, X, and YouTube. So that's the plan. Going to start cross-streaming to all of them. Moving on to X right now after I finish porting everything to X, and we're going to start moving on to Rumble, and then from there we might go to Twitch also. Why not? Hey, guys, you know what's funny? We're a one-man band. Last bull market around this time, I had 16 people on staff. Right now, we're doing very similar viewership numbers, and it's just me. It's me. My wife helps, obviously, immensely, and then we also have our someone doing sales for us to help everything keep running financially. But I want to get the quality up. I want to get the studio up and the new intros and all that stuff, and that's just as simple as hiring somebody to help with all that. But that's all coming. You're here for what we got to teach. You're here for what we are saying, and I want to give all glory to God for that. So thank you very much to the Lord Jesus Christ for teaching me, leading me, guiding me, most importantly, saving me. And I want to encourage all of you guys to, when you look at my example and you look at the things I get right or the things I get wrong and I try and do better, when you look at my example, and if you like anything about me, don't say Jeb did that. I want you to say Jesus Christ, the righteous of Nazareth, did that. And I want you to give your life to him. There's 374 people under the sound of my voice right now. More people will be watching the stream in coming days. If you're listening to my voice, the most important decision you will ever make. And don't say, Jeb, I like everything you said right now, but now you're crazy. Wait a minute. Either I know what I'm talking about or I don't. Either I seem like a wise guy or I'm not. So don't just write off what I'm about to say if you've accepted everything else I've said this stream. Look into it. Because I'm not wrong on this either. I could be wrong on Bitcoin. I'm definitely not wrong on this. Give your life to the Lord Jesus Christ. Make him the king of your life. Surrender your life to him. Open your Bible. Find a good church that verifies the solas. Sola Deo Gloria. Sola Gracia. Sola Scriptura. The 5 solas. You can look up the 5 solas. Find a good church that verifies the 5 solas. Because they actually understand the Bible if they do. Give your life to Jesus. Make him the king of your life, the author and perfecter of your faith. Ask to be indwelled and filled with the Holy Spirit. And ask Jesus to intercede for you for the Father. I don't want to overcomplicate the gospel. Let me restate it. Make sure it's very simple. Make him the king of your life and repent of your sins, and you will be saved. That's the gospel. Give your life to Jesus. Repent of your sins, and ye shall be saved. I want to see you in heaven. And I don't want a single one of you to look up at me when I'm there and say, Jeb, why didn't you tell me that what was going to happen was going to happen? This world's going to burn and everything on it, your Bitcoin included. You can't take that with you into the next life, but you can take your faith in Christ into the next life. Do all things for the glory of God. Follow and obey all things in the Scriptures. Rely exclusively on the grace of God to save you and to lead you. Preach the gospel, die and be forgotten. It's a phrase that our pastor uses. I love it. My goal is to preach the gospel, die and be forgotten. Some of you are going to tune out because you're very dead set that I'm wrong. I'm praying for you. Some of you already know what I'm saying is true, and this is just a hurrah. But there's at least one of you that's watching this right now that's on the fence. At least one of you. There's 346 of you watching right now. At least one of you is on the fence. At least one of you is wondering whether I'm right. At least one of you, and you know who you are, maybe 2, maybe 5, maybe 10 of you, are wondering, is Jesus Christ God? Is God real? Does God love me? Is God perfect? I want to encourage you that he is. And I also want to encourage you in a quote that Johnny Cash said. You guys know Johnny Cash, right? Johnny Cash said one time, all those that genuinely seek for the truth wind up at Jesus. Look for the truth. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, was born of a virgin, had an earthly ministry, performed miracles that only God could perform. He was crucified. He rose again from the dead on the 3rd day to show that he is God, proved it to hundreds of witnesses, and then ascended into heaven to be on the right hand of the Father. And when you die, you will meet him, and God the Father will ask Jesus Christ one question. Do you know this person? If Jesus says, yes, I know him, because you have repented and given your life to Christ, then you will enter into eternal life. If Jesus says, no, I do not know you, you will enter into eternal damnation. Good people don't go to heaven, and bad people don't go to hell. That's not the way it works. You can't be a good enough person to get into heaven. You're not good enough to go to heaven. Neither am I. And you're not bad enough that you have to go to hell. You're not so good you can go to heaven. And you're not so bad that you're too far gone. Those are both lies from the devil. So if you're on one fence of that, it's wrong. You've not done too much to be saved by God. And you're not good enough that you don't need him. God will ask Jesus one question. Do you know him? If Jesus says yes, you will be saved. If Jesus says no, you will not be. And at that point in time, you will see him face to face, and you will realize I'm right. And it will be too late to change your decision. And you'll want to if you didn't follow Christ, but it'll be too late. So choose to follow the Lord Jesus Christ right now, before it's too late, because we never know our time. It can come at any time. Give your life to Christ and be saved. That is the most important piece of wisdom I can give you. If you think, man, Jeb's made a lot of sense on all this. Jeb seems to know what he's talking about. Jeb seems to know what I'm talking about. Jeb seems to know what he's talking about on this Bitcoin stuff. He seems to have done his research. Don't just assume that I'm making this claim that Jesus is God and I haven't looked into it. Well, I have. I have. A lot. Because I was on the fence too. I was an agnostic for 19 years. I've looked into it. For years and for hundreds of hours. It's all true. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Every single other decision you ever make in your life will be less important than that decision. I beg you. I will never beg you to do anything else, but I beg you to give your life to him. Please. Please. I'm so glad I did. If you enjoyed today's stream, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, give your life to Jesus Christ. If you're on the fence, reach out to someone else that you've heard saying the same thing that I'm saying and talk to them. Or talk to me. And trust that what Christ says about himself is true. Because he knows more than you and me both. Hope you've enjoyed today's stream. We're going to wrap it out. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.